Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Road to Perdition. This is a donation reward movie request for Matthew Vasquez, I believe. Let me just make absolutely sure, just to be safe. Yes, this is Matthew, a donation reward for Matthew, and I don't know what this movie is at all. I know nothing about this movie. I don't know when it came out. I don't know who's in it. I don't know anything about the plot. I don't even think I don't even think I've seen anything about it. This is one of those cases where I'm 100% blind on this. I know nothing about it except the name. And honestly, I can't even begin to guess what it could be about at all. I know as little as you possibly could. So there's not going to be a lot to talk about with these pre-thoughts just because of that. Again, I know nothing. Call me Jon Snow because I know nothing. But yeah. So this is another donation reward. I mean, I've heard people mention this movie before, but that's about it, and without any context. Like, I've just heard them, like, basically say the name of the movie, and maybe, like, say if they liked it or not, but I haven't heard even anyone talk about it, like, what it actually is about, or I haven't even heard anyone, like, use, like, oh, like, this is similar to Road to Perdition, or anything like that. No, I haven't heard anyone talk like anything about this other than just like the very briefest of like mentions that they liked it or something. So it's like I don't know. I'm trying to almost like fill time here because I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to guess about it. Um, Again, the only thing I really know is the title, and I do know that it's about 2 hours long, just because I do have the movie here to watch, so I do know that, but that again doesn't tell you anything about it. So this is a really interesting one, just for that fact alone. Um, and as such, who knows what I'm going to think about it? It's it's pretty impossible to tell if I'm going to like it or not, and that goes most of the time, honestly. Even if it's a movie that you would think I would like, not necessarily the case. I mean, look at Guardians of the Galaxy, specifically Volume 2. I like the first one a lot more. But Volume 2, nah. Nah. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know anything. I feel like I've been trying to just like drag it on a little bit, but we're just going to get into it. I don't have anything to say because I don't know anything about it. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I was looking this up because I wanted to check on a couple things. And yeah, Tyler Hoechlin is the same Tyler Hoechlin I was thinking thinking he was. Um, so yeah, he's Superman in both Supergirl and Superman and Lois. So I was right about that. Um, Also, I forgot while watching this that Stanley Tucci was in the credits. He was Frank Nitti, Al Capone's top guy in Chicago. Um, so yeah, I kind of forgot about him being in it. All the others I recognized. It was just that. So thoughts on the film? I will say the acting was good, very good. In fact, I'd say this was some of the best acting from the likes of Tom Hanks and Daniel Craig and whatnot that I've seen. The story, pretty straightforward. It's a revenge story, a mob revenge story, um, where this father and son who have lost the other members of their family go out for revenge against the man who did it, and eventually take out all his allies and family along the way. The shots were great. There were certain scenes that were just phenomenal, such as the diner scene. I haven't looked up like if people specifically think highly of that scene in particular, but um, that scene really was probably the highlight of the film for me. Not that there were, not that the rest of the film was bad, and not that there were other moments that just didn't live up to that, but that was definitely the highlight scene for me. It's just the acting was so subtly great in it for both Jude Law and Tom Hanks. It had this underlying tension to it because, of course, we knew who Jude Law's character was, and Tom Hanks, like we could see, he was quickly figuring it out. He was quickly understanding what was going on, and it's like you kind of just wondered how it was going to resolve itself. And in the end, he just kind of escaped out the bathroom window or something. Um, but yeah, it's like it was so wonderfully shot, so wonderfully acted, and it just the tension was fantastic. It was easily my favorite part of the movie. And now let's talk about my biggest issue with this film. Halfway through, the tone changes drastically. The first half of the film basically taking place up to when Michael and his son head out onto the road. Everything leading up, the early stuff with the family, um, finding out what Michael does, um, the the killing that Connor perpetuates in that meeting, finding out that Michael Jr. was watching and everything, and Connor killing the other two members of the family, the wife and the younger son. All of that stuff was so intensely serious and even frightening to a point that once Michael and his son go on the road, the addition of, at that point, comedic elements and a switch up in the pacing, as well as just the overall feel and tone of the film kind of lightening at that point and becoming a lot more, for lack of a better word, friendly. I don't know. Like, there was still obviously some intense stuff in the second half, but it it's like night and day. It felt almost like a different movie. And it was so jarring how different the tone was that it threw me off completely. And I even mentioned this in the reaction that I noticed the tone shift, that the addition of the comedy felt really off and weird, that just the way it was being handled with Mike and his son just felt so confusing, almost, you could say. And it just felt at that point like, again, it just kind of felt like a different movie almost. And I think the worst part about it is that it became better. The first half of the film, like, even with the phenomenal acting and great scene composition and whatnot, was very boring. It was very intense, very dark, and very just slow. Once they went on the road and everything, and the tone shifted and everything, it became more entertaining for me, more fun, more enjoyable. But at the same time, like I said, it felt completely different, like a different movie almost. And it's like it even though I enjoyed it more, I enjoyed the second half much more. It was so different that it felt wrong. And so it's just like I almost, even though I found the second half better, I almost feel guilty for finding it better just because of how I don't like the fact that it shifted that much. There are also parts in this where it showed a scene, like there was at one point it showed a scene for like maybe 10 seconds and then went off of it to something completely different, and it's like that was like the most quick and sudden scene change ever. There might have been a lot quicker. In fact, there probably has been. But the point is, it's like it was so freaking fast, and it made that scene feel almost comically unimportant. Even if it was important, it didn't feel that way because of how just suddenly it changed. The second half was a lot more fast paced in general. Things kept moving a lot more uh, fluidly, I guess you could say. In the first half, it was a lot slower and a lot more monotonous, and it just felt like certain scenes dragged a little bit. The second half didn't really have that issue, and again, it's just I can't help but continue to say that it just felt like the first and the second half were two different films. They just did not feel like they were cohesive in terms of just how it was paced and set up and everything, even to a point how it was acted. And all the actors did a phenomenal job in both parts, in both halves, but I'm just saying. And it's not by any means that I'm saying that I didn't like the first half, or that the or whatnot, or that I didn't like the movie because of this or anything. Um, I did enjoy the movie enough. I wouldn't say it's like anywhere near a favorite movie of mine. I wouldn't say it's like fantastic or a masterpiece or anything. No, but for a movie I went into knowing literally nothing about, I liked it enough. And again, the actors did such a phenomenal job without question, and I loved watching their performances. It's just I can't help but continue to note of that tone change, and it was so jarring. Um, I kind of like certain elements of this in how it ended. Like, I'm not surprised at all that Mike died in the end, and that Michael Jr. went to live with the old couple. Though, okay, the fact that he went to live with the old couple like was a little surprising, but I guess it's the only place he could go at that point. It's the only thing that made sense, um, considering everyone else was dead. But yeah, it's just there was a few things that just I don't know, felt off to me maybe, and a few moments and little pieces in it like that I again did really like the introduction of McGuire, showing him at the crime scene and everything, and the guy was like clearly still hanging on, so he finished him off and everything. It was a good introduction for McGuire's character. Um, and the one bodyguard who was scared of Mike and wanted him to put in a good word and everything, like that was good. I like that. And certain elements just of certain scenes and whatnot were just so well handled. But as a whole, as an entire film, there again just were some cohesiveness issues for me. And it's not, again, it's not like it ruins the entire film. It's not like it makes me dislike this movie. But it hurts it. Let's put it that way. It hurts the overall quality for me. Um, but yeah, um, overall, I'm not like disappointed that I saw this. I'm not like I don't regret having watched this now. It's not something I feel like I am really excited and happy that I've seen or whatnot. It's not one of those movies like um, I don't know. Trying to think of a specific example. Snowpiercer. Let's go with that. When I first saw Snowpiercer, it's like after I watched it, it's like I'm glad I finally got to see this. It's like it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I'm happy that I finally got to see it. It's not like one of those movies where it's like afterwards I'm not like super hyped that I got to see it. I'm not like really happy that I finally got to check it out. Because again, I barely ever even heard of this prior. And I again knew nothing about it. So and afterwards it's just like I'm just kind of like, okay, I saw it. I don't regret having seen it. I'm not like super excited that I got to see it, but I saw it and I don't regret it, so I guess that's good enough. And that's I guess that's the best way to put it. Put my thoughts towards this film. It was good enough. Again, it wasn't anything spectacular, it wasn't anything amazing. Um, but it was good enough. So thank you, Matthew Vasquez, for choosing this as a donation reward. Um, what we're going to do for the next donation rewards going forward, I have another one from you, Matthew, but I also have a couple from Venom 0027, and I have another one here. So I'm probably, before I get to your next one, Matthew, I'm going to go to another one just so I don't do the same person's reactions like twice in a row necessarily. I want to kind of just even it out for everyone. So I'm at least getting to one of each person's reactions before just continuing on with the first person, you know. Just want to try to keep it even for everyone so that everyone gets to have me react without just pushing them back, pushing their reactions back too much further. So I will be getting to your other one, Matthew, because honestly, your other one actually does excite me. It is something I am excited to see, very much. But we'll hold off on that for now, maybe for a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks or so. And in the meantime, we'll get to some other ones on that are on my list. But again, thank you for choosing this. I'm glad you decided to choose it for me. And if you have any other suggestions in the future, feel free to think about them, and when and if you're able to, yeah, just I'll take any more requests in the future, just whenever you can and want to and are able to and all that. Don't you don't have to worry about it now, obviously, or just whenever and if you can. Yeah, that's all. But yeah, tell me in the comments below what you all thought of Road to Perdition. And thank you all so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.